Welcome back to another live stream. Hi everyone. Do you miss me? I wasn't live last week. We skipped 1 week. I had a job last week. The shoot went well, so yeah, it clashed with my live stream for the first time. Before we go on too far, I just want to make sure that the stream is okay. Just make sure that you can see me here. The video feed is doing okay. You can hear me fine. The microphone is working. There's no distortion, no echo, anything. Yeah, just want to make sure everything is okay. Let me know while I sip some coffee. Coffee is life. We've got some updates already. Thank you so much, Jerry Hikari, for the update. Thanks, Yumi. All right, as usual, I'll say hi to some people first. I'll definitely reply to chats by members first. If you are a member, you get a priority for my responses. Members will have their names highlighted in green, and there's a star badge next to it. If you're not a member, don't worry, I'll still get to your chat a little bit later. All right, let's say hi to some people. Jeffrey says, greetings from rainy, humid Kansas, where it's trying to compete with Malaysia's rainy season. There's no way it can come close to the real tropics. Hope your life is rich and satisfying these days. There are a lot of things happening in my life. I'll definitely update everyone on what's happening, but I want to say hi to everyone first. I wish the same to you too, Jeffrey. And it has been really hot in Malaysia. My room is 29 degrees. Anything above 28 degrees is actually very, very hot. And I predict that I'll sweat like crazy at the end of this stream, so yeah. Dan says, good morning everyone. Hey Dan, how are you? Nice to see you here again. Dan says, hey Robin, I just got the Nikon Z6. Wow, congratulations. Used for a price I couldn't pass on. Well, some good used Z-mount budget street lenses to start with. Got the Vutrox. Which Vutrox did you get? Let's see if you have... an F to Z in the meantime. So I use my F-mount lenses. I'm able to buy some Z-mounts. Well, I did review some lenses. The Vutrox 50 F2 is a great lens to start. It's only $200 US. I'm also quite a huge fan of the... What was that? So there's 50, there's a 75 F2 if you want something a little bit longer. And yeah, there have been a lot of third-party lenses for the Z-mount. Anything on 35, 24, from TT Artisan, from 7 Artisans, from Vutrox, from Miki especially. Yeah, there have been quite a few interesting budget lenses. My favorite so far was the Vutrox 50 F2. And something is coming up. I'm not supposed to say anything, but it's going to be launched at the end of this month. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's see. Andrew says, hey Robin everyone. Hey Andrew, nice to see you again. How are you? Jeffrey says, you look and sound great. Thank you so much for the update. Andrew says, stream is all good. Nasi goreng looking good. Yeah, I had it for dinner. I'm still hungry. I gotta eat more. I'm gonna eat after the stream. Dan says, after experiencing DSLRs without image stabilization, I really missed it. You mean you missed not having image stabilization? Really? Okay. I thought like for me, once I have experienced image stabilization, I cannot live without it. So yeah. Azru says, good evening Robin. Hey Azru, how are you? I had nasi lemak goreng. Okay, at Piccadilly. Alright, the other day. That's interesting. Now I'll just stay, if I want nasi lemak, I'll get nasi lemak. If I want nasi goreng, I'll get nasi goreng. You know, it's like, they're supposed to be enjoyed separately. I don't really get all these hybrid things these days. Yumi says, hey Robin, hope you've had a good day. Yep, the day has been fine. I hope the same for you. JSB Photo says, good morning all, 6 o'clock here and raining hard in South Central Alaska. Wow, that's really early. Wow, why are you waking up so early, JSB? Jeff says, hey Robin everyone. Hey Jeff, how are you? Nice to see you here. Jerry says, audio and video okay. Thank you so much for the update, Jerry. JSB says, I'm expecting my very first Micro Four Thirds camera via FedEx this afternoon. EM1 Mark II. Wow, exciting day ahead. Hey, and yeah, I still use my EM1 Mark II for my professional jobs as my main workhorse camera. It's still a fantastic camera even for today. Ezekiel says, hi Robin. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you here. Thanks so much for the update, Yumi. Appreciate that. Amakus says, miss you. Hi Robin, hope you're doing well. It's nice to be missed. I'm doing quite alright. Thank you so much for being here. Jonathan says, oh good Robin, thank you so much for the update. Breakfast for your soul. Wow, what a handle. Breakfast for your soul. Interesting. 40mm Nikon, 199 right now. Awesome lens for amazing price. I don't think it's that cheap in Malaysia. It's going for more than 1,000 ringgit. So that's like 250 US dollars. But still it's close, right? Yeah, Terry says, hi from Adelaide, South Australia. Hey Terry, how are you? I was just in Perth like a few weeks ago in Western Australia. Jerry says, greetings from Finland. Hey Jerry. Today we have plus 7 degrees Celsius. I guess that's really hot over there. Next week it's getting even warmer. I guess it's the right temperature to go out and shoot some photographs. Hey, have some shutter therapy. Muhammad Fajar Agus says, hi Robin, selamat malam. Which better aspect ratio, 4/3 or 3:2? Doesn't really matter. Hey, just work with what we have. Because I shoot with micro four thirds, the only way to enjoy the entire sensor size to get the full resolution is shooting 4/3. So that's why I always shoot in 4/3 if I'm using my micro four thirds system. If I shoot with APS-C, I shoot with 3:2 because that's when you enjoy the full resolution. If you crop, you lose resolution. So why crop? Just shoot the entire frame, right? So yeah, prefer 12 megapixel 16 for micro four thirds sensor. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, just shoot with full resolution. Yeah. Santix says, hey Robin, hope you are doing well. Hey Santix, I'm doing great. How are you? Dan says, thanks Robin for answering my question. No worries, appreciate that. Santix asking, any photo exhibitions? Yes, something is coming up. I will definitely talk about that in my updates. No worries. Does EM1 Mark II have panorama mode? No, but you can easily take like a lot of photos and then stitch it later. The software that I'm recommending is Huggin. Check it out, it's a freeware. Yeah, it's fun though. You take like many photos and then you let the software like just stitch everything together. It doesn't have to be like a horizontal panorama. You can take like, let's say a grid of 3x3, for example, to have like a huge, almost squarish kind of panorama shot. Yeah. Jonathan says, coming from Nikon DSLR for years, my Panasonic and Lumix cameras are a revelation with in-body stabilization. Can't do without it now. Yeah, we'll talk about the topic. I think it's quite a hot topic and one of the things that makes micro four thirds so special, and definitely one of the things that makes micro four thirds, it gives micro four thirds the edge when it comes to the photography world, right? Yeah, the 5-axis image stabilization. Mika says, I just ordered an EM5 and 25 f1.7. Is that an okay setup? Of course. Why is that setup not okay? Viper Gamoka says, good evening. Hey, Viper Gamoka, nice to see you here. Mika says, thank you for answering. No worries, my pleasure. Santi says, image stabilization to strength of micro four thirds, which is really beneficial for video. For photos, it helps with slow shutter speeds. I think it helps generally in everything, right? It's a game changer in the world of photography. It's like the next best thing after sliced bread. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. So let me just give updates to what's happening in my life and what's happening in Kuala Lumpur. But let me have some coffee first. Coffee. All right. Last Monday, as usual, every Monday I release a new video. And this time it is me bringing the OM system 100 to 400 Mark II to the bird park in Kuala Lumpur for a test. So this particular test was not like a review of the lens because optically the 100 to 400 Mark II is the same as the 100 to 400 Mark I. So there's no change in terms of sharpness or image quality. I was not there to test the image quality, but I was there to test the image stabilization. So the Mark II of the 100 to 400 lens has 5-axis sync IS compatibility. So I talk about how effective it is, how different it is, and I even test it to how slow of the shutter speed I can handhold. Spoilers alert, it was 1/25 of a second. So at full 400mm telephoto end, which is insane. I have everything recorded. You can check out the video. It's already published on Monday. Do check it out if you have not done so. Got some really cool bird shots as well. Interesting fact, Nikon Malaysia, or technically it's Futuromic, the distributor of Nikon in Malaysia, they are having an outing for at Kuala Lumpur Bird Park this coming Sunday. I think it's the touch and try event for the latest Z5 Mark II or Z5 II. Technically, Nikon, they don't play with marks. If it's Z5, Z5 II, Z6, Z6 II, Z6 III, or Z7, Z7 II, right? So it's Z5 II. Touch and try event is happening at Kuala Lumpur Bird Park this coming Sunday. But I think I'm not even sure if there's any more slots available. Anyway, do check out Futuramics Facebook if you're interested to participate in that event. There is an exhibition to answer Santik's question. So let's pull up the photograph. Oops, I'm too far in this photograph. So, hey, why is the photograph not showing? This is it. I pulled up the wrong slideshow. So, if you guys remember, my friends Azul and Grace, they have had this exhibition before, a smaller scale one last year in August. So it's like a preview of what's coming. And they have also launched the book. I have the book here. So yeah, this is the book. You can buy it from them. So let me just show. So this is the book by Azul and Grace, which I purchased during the launch. Right, so it's actually all the photographs are in black and white. So it's the same project again from Azul and Grace, from this Under the Shadows of Merdeka. And this time they're gonna have an actual full-blown large-scale exhibition in Kuala Lumpur at the GMBB building. And level 3A, it starts tomorrow, so I'm guessing that today they are both Azul Grace and their crew members. They are going to be busy today, whole day. Even now, they're probably setting up the exhibition until late so that they are ready to open tomorrow for public viewing. So the exhibition will run from 9th, which is tomorrow, to 18th of May. I think 18th is a Sunday, right? If I'm not wrong. Oh no, yeah, it's Sunday. So it's starting tomorrow, Friday, until the following Sunday, May the 18th. Yeah. So there'll be an opening launch, but I think the opening event, the launch event of this exhibition is private. I am invited to the launch. The launch is this coming Saturday. So I will go to the launch, I'll take some photographs, I'll share with you guys next week during this live stream on the exhibition, the photographs of the exhibition, the location, and of course the event of the launch itself. There'll be a talk. Azul and Grace will be sharing about their project, how they take those photographs, of course making the book and this exhibition, and of course I'll take as many photographs as I can, and rest assured I'll share them with you guys on what's happening at the exhibition launch next week, right? So this exhibition, if you guys are in Kuala Lumpur, please check it out. My friends Azul and Grace, they are awesome photographers. They are some of the best photographers that I know. And this project is entirely shot in black and white. And this exhibition is going to be all in black and white as well. It's going to be in GMBB building, right in the middle of the city. You can take the train to Plaza Raya LRT or Bukit Bintang. It's definitely walkable from all the public transport. Search up GMBB on Google Maps if you don't know where it is. I think it's next to the Swiss Garden hotel residence, if I'm not wrong, in Bukit Bintang area, and very near to Petaling Street as well. So definitely very easy to find. Definitely do check this out. All right, today I'll be also speaking of like Merdeka, right? I'll be sharing photographs of this Merdeka 118 tower just during my photo sharing. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So what have I been doing lately? Besides doing jobs, I have a few shoots last week and this week. I have a job last Thursday. I have a job this week as well. I just shot watches. Yesterday I have a client who asked me to shoot watches, which is very interesting. I'm going to meet the client again next Wednesday to shoot more watches, something that I don't do a lot. Maybe with the permission of the client, I can share those images. I don't know yet. Let me do the job first. So yeah, some interesting jobs coming in, as well as I have some events to shoot as well, covering small events like birthday parties or companies' private events. Some of those shots I can't share with you guys. Some of those family members or families, they requested privacy, and it's their kids. So, and there are a lot of kids at birthday parties, and you know, like how privacy is, right? I can't just share random kid photographs with you guys. So they requested privacy, so I can't share those shots. But yeah, I've been busy doing some shoots there and here. I've been making videos as well. And some of the things I've been shooting for myself, not for clients. macro. I've been doing more macro photography recently, and I'll share some insect macro photographs later in this session as well, right? So you see a series of Merdeka 118 building shots that I've taken, as well as macro shots, some teasers, right, for you guys to stay tuned. All right, before I dive into the topic, let me remind everyone that I have enabled membership on this channel. With just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me. You have some cool perks in return. One of them is you get early access to my videos. You get to watch my videos 24 hours before everyone else. You also get priorities to my responses to your comments. I'll reply to your comments first, whether it's in my old or new videos. Also, priorities to your chats in live streams. I'll definitely reply to your chats first before non-members. Also, there are members-only live streams, which is private live streams. Only members can have access to that. We have once a month, so you have more interactions with me directly. I don't have to go through so many chats. And there are some older videos that I've taken down. If you want full access to these videos, you can join as a member. These videos include tips and tricks on black and white photography, tips and tricks on how to get sharp images doing macro photography. There are also tips and tricks on composition and framing. Have I talked about it already? A lot of POV street photography. The reason I took these videos down is because they were not performing well, and I don't want them to dilute the algorithm. I want YouTube to continue to push my new videos to a wider audience. But if you want full access, you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me besides joining as a member. You can buy me a cup of coffee by using this link, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my affiliate links, both on Amazon and B&H. So any support will definitely go a long way. You guys know that I use my own funds, my own resources for to make my videos, and some of these videos, they do cost some money to make, time, effort, money. Yeah, if you contribute in any way, definitely will go a long way to support me, to encourage me, actually, to inspire me to go out, take more photographs, make more videos, and share it with you guys. All right, so yeah, to those who have supported me, thank you so much for your help. Really appreciate the contribution, and they don't go unnoticed. Whatever that is come in to support me, I definitely have put them in good use. I push them. It helps me to make even more videos to share with you guys. All right, more coffee. Then I'll get to the chat, and we'll talk about the topic for today, which is image stabilization. Before we get drowned in the chat, let me just reply to a few more people first. Jeffrey says, OM's image stabilization is significantly better than with my flagship Sony bodies and lenses. I'm spoiled. OM is on a different level, especially with sync image stabilization lenses and shooting handheld video. Definitely, that's because Micro Four Thirds image sensor is a lot smaller. So inside the camera, there's more room for the sensor to move, for the stabilization to work. So for full frame cameras, the sensor is so much larger. If you want the same level of stabilization, you have to make the camera a lot bigger. You have to give more room for the sensor to move, and they don't want to make the cameras big. They want to make the camera small, so there are some compromises there and here. So it's definitely not as good as Micro Four Thirds when it comes to effectiveness of image stabilization. Hey Rippy, how are you? Rippy is a friend. Rippy says, hi Robin, good evening. I'm going to see Rippy this coming Saturday for Azu's and Grace exhibition launch. Rippy is also invited, so see you there, Rippy. Yeah, we should do more shutter therapy, Rippy. Andrew says, I just purchased two OM vintage lenses to play around, 135 f2.8 and 50 f1.4. Vintage lenses is so fun, so 70s vibe. I just have one tip to share with you, Andrew. Let me just, if I can pull this up. Let me just find my video on manual lenses. Robin Wong, manual lens tips. Yeah. So one of the important thing is to set the image stabilization focal length on the camera itself. Let's say you attach 135 f2.8 on that, let's say OM1 or any of your Olympus cameras, right? You need to tell the camera what the focal length is so that the camera will know that focal length and optimize the stabilization for that particular focal length. And I've shared how to do this. Let me just pull out the video. Manual focus lens tips on OM-D. Let me just put this here. So Andrew, if you have not checked out this video, please do so. It definitely will help you to optimize what you can get out of those manual lenses that you've purchased to play with. I hope that helps. Jeffrey says, thanks for doing the 100-400 Mark II stabilization impressions. I sold my original mainly due to the lack of good enough for handheld video work. Sharpness was not an issue for me. I only tested the stabilization for stills. I did not test it for video. As you know, I don't really do any video work. I'm not a cinematographer or videographer. I don't want to pretend I know anything about handheld video work. There are a lot of experts out there. They just know everything, right? And they just give all kinds of tips and tricks on how to do like video work or camera work. And we look at them, it's like you really question, do they really know what they're talking about? Like, do they even produce any good work? So like, I'm very transparent. I just tell like, hey, I'm not a videographer. I have no experience doing video work, although YouTube is video, but YouTube is YouTube, right? It's not like making a video for Hollywood or making a TV show. Those are like proper video production work. YouTube is just like very simple, put together video of me talking to you guys. There's like a lot simpler, a simplified version of video production, right? It's totally different. So I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert. It's very, very important that I'm very clear about this. Dan says, using my EM1 Mark II, the image stabilization is truly amazing. It is, right? It's so good, you kind of take it for granted. And lately I've been shooting with my Nikon D800E. I just got a 300mm lens. That's a very long lens. Even with VR, vibration reduction, not steady at all. Yeah, definitely. People will say that, oh, you know, the lens stabilization is so much better than the 5-axis eyes in the camera body. Not really. That's one of the things we'll talk about soon, very, very, very soon. Andrew says, yep, I got a focal length set up. Yes, that's very important. Glad that you've got that set up. Learned the hard way when I realized the image stabilization acted weirdly. Yeah, just want to get it out of the way. Just make sure that, you know, like you have that set up properly so you don't like get weird results later on, right? Yeah, no worries. Lassie says, hi Robin, your videos did help me to navigate in the Macro Four Thirds world. Thank you, and I hope you will keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going anywhere. I'll definitely continue to share as much as I can, right? That's definitely for sure. And I'm glad that you found my videos useful, and that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just want to contribute as much as I can to the community. I just want to encourage everyone to enjoy photography. That's my mission of being here. Sunday says, by this day and age, they should be able to make 20 megapixel sensor and image stabilization in GM1 and GM5 size cameras. I don't know. Hey, I'm just not going to assume that everything is possible. There's definitely some limits to what technology or science can do, right? Yeah. And it's been quite hot recently. It's been quite hot. My room is like 29.5 degrees, almost 30 degrees. Yeah, of course, that's dinner, and I'm still hungry. I'm gonna eat more stuff after the stream ends. Mika says, if you had to pick two lenses to shoot with OM-E-M5, what are you picking? Depends on what I'm shooting. If I'm shooting macro, 60 f2.8 macro. If I'm shooting birds, 75 to 300. If I'm doing street photography, 25 f1.8. If I'm doing portraits, 45 f1.8, right? Like, if I'm doing event stage photography, 75 f1.8 or 40 to 150 lens. Really, it all depends. Or if I want to do like indoor interior photography or architectural photography, then maybe 714, right? So it all depends on what you're doing. Get the right lens for the right job. Each lens is designed for specific uses. So you can't just say, oh, just two lenses for everything. It doesn't work that way, right? So yeah, Kelvin says, hi from Sebago Lake, Maine. Hey Kelvin, nice to see you again. Santit says, what Macro Four Thirds should make use of the image stabilization is to make the GS series or the EPM series camera with flip-up screen with wider lens, collapsible lens. I don't think this has anything to do with image stabilization. They are talking about two totally different things, right? Lens is lens, image stabilization. So they are not really, they don't go hand in hand. Yeah. What is Merdeka? I know, but not the others. Then they'll have to go to the exhibition and find out then. It's not for me to say, right? Zotan says, hi Robin, hey everyone from Maryland. Hey Zotan, very nice to see you here. Any photo walk coming? There's always photo walk anytime, every day, everywhere. Just bring your camera, go out and shoot. Yeah. In front of Tongshin, I'm not sure, but Tongshin is nearby. It's nearby. I know it's next to Swiss Garden Hotel Residence. Yeah. When you shoot watches, the glass will be taken away to properly show that. No. You just use, if you don't want to see any reflection, either you control the light. I mean, if you are in a studio, you can control the direction of the light, right? So move it to an angle where there's no reflection, or shoot with a polarizer. Yeah, that can get rid of reflection. Sunday says, do you have a 60 macro lens? Yes, I have. 60 macro lens. I think you've missed a lot of streams, Santix. And some videos as well. Dave says, "Hi Robin, I don't think it is the secret Micro Four Thirds weapon, it is the famous Micro Four Thirds weapon." As I know, image stabilization is more effective on smaller sensors, but most manufacturers don't invest too much on image stabilization on APS-C. Yeah, it's like almost no image stabilization on APS-C cameras, right? Fuji SM5 doesn't have it, Nikon Z52 doesn't have it, and a majority of Canons, like R series cameras, they don't have it, right? Like R50 doesn't have image stabilization, yeah. So it's even Sony like A6400, does it have image stabilization? A6700, maybe it has. Sony A6700 image stabilization. I don't know about that one. Mati Sulanto used to have that camera. Oh yeah, Sony does have it. Sony A6700 has 5-axis image stabilization. Hooray! Sony got it right. Whereas everyone, Nikon, Canon, and yeah, Fuji, they just ignore it, right? Okay, let's see. Photo X says, "I do not care too much about image stabilization, sorry." Or then you are missing out, because it changes the entire photography, like the way you shoot. It just makes photography just so much more better. Like if you don't have it, it's like now after I experienced image stabilization, I cannot go back. Without it, I'm not secure. I can't get my shots without image stabilization. You are missing out huge time. And what camera are you using really? Like it sounds like you've never even tried how good a stabilization really is. Sixtus Van says, "Robin, the Pocket 3 has spoiled me for stabilization. I find it difficult to intercut DJI footage with the best Micro Four Thirds footage from G9 Mark II. The stabilization looks quite different. You can't compare a gimbal versus just image stabilization, right? A gimbal is a gimbal, right? Yeah." Jeff says, "The mass of a Micro Four Thirds sensor is much less than APS-C and full frame, which is very beneficial when it comes to the effectiveness of image stabilization." It's not just the mass, right? It's the size, right? You need the room for the sensor to move, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen me. I've shown how, I don't know if I can see if I can show this. Do I have enough battery to demonstrate this? Let's see if I can try to demonstrate this. Image info. Okay, let's try, see if I can show. You probably can't see it. See the sensor move. You can't, unless I shine a light in it, right? So let me try. See if I can do this. Okay. Oh no, I need to solve something first. The camera's battery is blinking red. Let me solve that one problem first. Be right back. One problem at a time. Be right back, guys. Be right back. I will have to replace the camera's battery, so give me a bit of time. Just in case you guys are wondering, I'm still here. Just changing the battery. Just make sure the battery is fine. All right, give me a bit more time. Okay, let's see if this works. Are we back in business? We are. Just need to do a bit, move this a little bit here. Okay, crisis averted. Sorry, it took a bit of a time because I left my camera bag on another room, so I had to run out to the back and find the batteries, and then come back, and I realized that everything is hooked up, so I had to like remove the HDMI cable, remove the USB cable, take the camera off the tripod, remove the battery, put the battery in. Then I realized that the battery I put in that wasn't charged, so I had to find another battery. So I ran out again and find another battery and come back. So I tried, that's the one that's fully charged. I put it back into the camera and plug the USB cable in, and it's charging. So I'm not sure. Yeah, the battery wasn't charging. The first battery I put in, the USB cable I plug in, the power delivery wasn't working. So I don't know what caused that, but that's that. Now that I see that the battery that I just slotted in is charging, not charging, power delivery is working. So that should fix the problem for now. Okay, so I was trying to demonstrate the image stabilization. Let me just see if I can still do that. Okay. Okay, so I need the light here. Can you see the sensor moving? Okay. Yep. Okay, should. That's probably not the best way to show. Yeah, I think you can see the sensor moving, right? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, the more room that it moves, the better. So it's not just the mass that Jeffrey was talking about, but you need like room for the sensor to move. So because the sensor is so much smaller, so we have more room for it to move. Let me just put the blue light back on because I want the blue light. This looks weird, right, with the red background. It's a little blue light. So that's the LED light that I'm using, just in case you guys are wondering. Tiny LED light. Just put it up here. Okay, let's see. I think I'll just dive right into the topic. Okay, tonight I don't really have anything written down. So usually I have like, not really a script, but like bullet points I want to talk about. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and I'll just roll off whatever that comes from my mind, because this is a topic that I'm very familiar with. When I started photography, this was like in the year 2008, 2009. So that's maybe, I don't know, how many years ago was it? So around that time, there was this popular debate going on about like which stabilization is better. Is it in the camera body or is it in the lens? So that's one, right? Body image stabilization or lens stabilization. This is before mirrorless. This is during DSLR's time, when DSLR was dominating the market or was on the rise and about to dominate the market. And then there was a separate discussion on whether image stabilization is necessary at all. Like some people say, we never had stabilization before. They'll say, like, oh, I was using my Yashica or I was using my Pentax like 50 years ago. Never had image stabilization and all my photos come out fine, right? So there's the group that says that, we don't need stabilization. It makes no difference from me, right? It's just not someone said that, who was the one who mentioned that. It was the photo X said, I don't care about image stabilization. So that's one person. That's fine, it's your opinion. I just felt that if you've tried it, it's quite hard to deny the benefits, right? It's like, after you tried sliced bread, I mean, are you going to slice your own bread? Like, really? You're going to spend some effort? You're just going to buy the bread sliced, right? So anyway, it's fine. Some people enjoy the slicing process. Like, never mind, I buy the whole loaf of bread. I want a thicker slice, They slice it too thinly. I want more control over my slices. Fine, like whatever floats your boat, right? So yeah, there's this group that says, we don't need stabilization. It doesn't really matter. And then there's the group that says like, hey, okay, we are believer of stabilization. Is it the lens or the sensor? And then Canon and Nikon, they went on the lens route. So certain lenses have image stabilization built into the lens, certain lenses don't have. Whereas like Pentax, Sony, and Olympus at that time, they went on the camera built-in image stabilization. That's why in-body image stabilization, they built the stabilization on the sensor. At that time, whether it's the lens stabilization or the body stabilization, it has always been, let me just adjust something at my footrest. It's at the wrong position. All right. So the stabilization, technically, there's only two axes, right? There is the pitch and the yaw movements. Pitch and yaw movements. Two axis stabilization, whether it's on the lens stabilization between the lens or the body. Now, it doesn't really matter whether it's lens or body, it doesn't make much of a difference, but one advantage is clear. If your stabilization is in the body, whatever lens that you attach on it will have stabilization benefit, right? That's the biggest advantage. Some will argue that, but the lens stabilization is better, blah, blah, blah. But then again, if you include image stabilization in the lens, it makes the lens bigger. That's just physics. It makes the lens more expensive. Whereas if you just include the stabilization in the body, most of your lenses without the stabilization can be made smaller and cheaper. Or if they want to sell at the same price, they can earn more profit, right? So for the company, it's a win-win, right? So it makes more sense to have a stabilization in the body. Now, everything is about the benefit of the stabilization is not like a huge thing. It's sort of like the topic is on and off. People talk about it there and then, and it's not like the huge thing, or it's not like the next best thing, right? And then mirrorless came, and of course, I think in the year 2012, Olympus introduced the world's first 5-axis image stabilization in the camera body, and this changed everything. So previously, before 5-axis, we have 2-axis, right? The 2-axis is pitch movement and yaw movement. So when the 5-axis image stabilization came, the 5-axis added 3 more axes. So instead of just pitch and yaw, on top of that, we have roll movement, vertical translation, and horizontal translation compensations. So this changes things. Not only is a lot more effective, but it stabilizes no matter how you hold the camera, because everyone is different. Some people, we're all different, right? Some people drink more coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, so my hand shakes a bit more. So it depends on how you shake the camera, how you move the camera, or maybe you're standing in a very stable platform. Let's say you're standing on a boat. So depending on movement on the ground, the camera's movement is not as predictable as people think. It's not just, I stabilize it this way. No. When you hold a camera, you can't really control how much of a stabilize or how much movement that you're inducing on the camera. It just happens without even knowing, right? Is it yaw? Is it pitch? Is it roll? Is it vertical translation? Is it horizontal translation? So the 5-axis is like, when it came out, it was insane. It was crazy. And there was the E-M5 in 2012, in 2013. Olympus, this is the camera that Olympus released in 2013. With the E-M1, they improved the stabilization further. So how did they improve it? There are technically 2 ways to improve it. A lot of people think, stabilize it better, like the movement, compensate more movements. No, that's not how you improve stabilization. There are 2 ways to improve stabilization. Number 1, use a more sensitive gyro to detect the movements. So that's what they did. Every single generation from E-M1, E-M1 Mark II, from E-M1 to E-M5 Mark II, to E-M1 Mark II, to E-M1 Mark III, then of course we have the OM1, OM Mark II. How do they improve generation to generation? They use a more sensitive gyro, which is which can detect the movements of your hand more quickly. The faster the gyro detection is, the faster the camera can compensate, the more effective the camera can compensate for the movement. That's number one. Number two, processing power. The speed to compensate the movement, it really depends on how fast the processor, how powerful the processor is to just detect it, not just to detect it, but also to compensate the movements in the stabilization. So a lot of people think, oh, maybe the stabilization is stronger, so it can compensate for more stops, right? More EV stops. No. How Olympus improve it is by having a more sensitive gyro and more powerful processor to compensate based on the quick reading of the sensitive gyro. So every generation from 3 stops, 4 stops, 5 stops, 6 stops is crazy, right? So how do you calculate the stops? So here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand, what does it mean by 1 stop stabilization, 2 stops? So let's take an example of this. This is Olympus 60f2.8. Naturally, to get rid of, to handhold this lens, a comfortably handhold shutter speed, a confident hand-holding shutter speed with no shake, the formula is 1 over 2 times the equivalent focal length. So the focal length of this 60mm lens, the equivalent focal length, because it's 2 times crop, right, macro four thirds, is 120mm. So to handhold this effectively, I need 1 over 240th of a shutter speed, right, of a second, right, 1 over, let's say 250, because there's no 1 over 240, right, in the camera setting. So to handhold this effectively, this lens, this specific lens, I need 1 over 2 times the equivalent focal length, which is 1 over 240. We just put it 1 over 250. 1 stop means you half the shutter speed. Becomes 1 over 125 or 1 over 120. That's 1 stop. 2 stops, 1 over 60th. 3 stops, 1 over 30th. 4 stops, 1 over 15th. So it goes that way. That's how you calculate the stops from the confident hand-holding minimum or the shutter speed, the minimum shutter speed they can hand-hold, right? It's the general rule of thumb, 1 over 2 times, then you work backwards, 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops, 5 stops. That's how you calculate. And every generation it gets more and more effective. And here is a fun fact for everyone to digest. In 2015, CIPA came out with a standard to measure stabilization, image stabilization, whether it's the lens or the camera body, it doesn't matter. CIPA came out with a standard that will induce vibration to simulate 2 movements, 2 separate movements, not together. They measure it separately. The 2 axes of movements are pitch and yaw movements. So in 2015 up to 2024, in that 9 years, right? In that 9 years, when CIPA stated that 3 stops EV effectiveness or 5 stops effectiveness, CIPA rating, when it's following the CIPA standards, right? It's basically only calculating based on these 2 axes, the pitch and yaw only. So for Olympus cameras since 2012, in the first EM5 camera and the EM1 in 2013, we already have 5 axis image stabilization, which was never measured. And bear in mind that the yaw and pitch vibration movements are induced separately, not together. When you move the camera and that one movement, it could be multiple axes of what you call that, movements combined together. So they only can measure individual movements of each axis, yaw and pitch. All right. So how effective is Olympus stabilization? 4 stops, 5 stops? It goes beyond that because CIPA could not even have a standard measurement to quantify how effective the stabilization was. That's why the 4 stops of effectiveness on a Sony camera body is not the same as the 4 stops effectiveness on an Olympus camera body. It's not the same. The 8 stops effectiveness on a Canon's camera measurement on the R5 Mark II, for example, they claim 7 stops, 8 stops, right? It's not the same as the 7 stops effectiveness on an Olympus 5-axis image stabilization because they cannot measure roll, they cannot measure vertical translation, and they did not measure the horizontal translation. They can only measure yaw and pitch movements up to 2024. And last year, CIPA came up with a new standard of measurement which includes only one more axis. So on top of the pitch and yaw measurements, they measure roll. So there's only 3 axes that CIPA can measure. So technically, there's no measurement to tell you how effective Olympus 5-axis image stabilization is versus Canon's 5-axis versus Sony's 5-axis, only through experience, only through real-world use case, you can see how effective it is. I hope that makes sense, right? I hope you can see where I'm going with this. And those of you who have used Micro Four Thirds camera, those of you who have used the 5-axis image stabilization since EM1, you will know once you've tried it, there's no going back. It is not about, oh, I can handhold, like 1/10 of a second, I can handhold half a second, or some people will claim I can handhold 10 seconds. No problem, I see it come up with sharp or usable image, right? So usable and sharp is very subjective. Your usable may be soft to me. My usable may be unusable to you. My sharp may not be sharp enough for you. So everyone has a different criteria to judge whether a photo is sharp or not. So that's very dangerous, right? And to me, personally, it's not about how long you can stretch. Since EM1 Mark II, so this is EM1. EM1 is already so good. I can trust this camera, hand holding it for a lot of my jobs back then, no issue. But since EM1 Mark II, man, it is so crazy. Like, it is about boosting the confidence in nailing the shot. Like, I'm in a dart room, for example. I'm using 12f2, for example. And I just want to capture the room, right? Slight movement is fine. Everyone is seated. Slight blow of movement is fine. And, typically I may need to shoot, because the room is very dimly lit before the show started, the stage light is not on yet, but I want to capture the ambience, for example. Typically I'll need ISO 6400 or more to get maybe 1/30th of a second, 1/40th of a second, just to be safe. Right, because I'm using 12 millimeters, that's 24 equivalent. So 1/2 times 24, I need 1/50th of a second just to be safe. Even so, I may stretch it, maybe 1/30th, 1/20th. But because of the EM1 Mark II stabilization is so powerful, I can stretch it all the way down to half a second and get it sharp 100% all the time. And when I say sharp, it means I can do it again, sharp, take it again, sharp, take it again, sharp. It's not like, oh, I gotta brace myself, put my elbow on the railing, gotta lean on the wall, gotta tuck my elbow in, gotta put the camera in my eye, no. Just hold the camera casually, don't have to worry so much. Just click, 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 100% sharp. It is boosting the confidence in nailing the shot. And when I can slow it down to half a second, I usually get away with ISO 200. My ISO 200 on my EM1 Mark II will be cleaner than ISO 3200 or ISO 6400 on a full frame camera. I can bet on this. I can bet my ass on that. And that's when my friends will come up, wow, how the hell do you get this shot? And that's the magic of the image stabilization that a lot of people have missed out if they have not used it in real world situations. And there are so many situations. I understand that when there's moving subject, when you're shooting stage, you still need to increase the shutter speed to prevent blur. You still need some high ISO work. But trust me, a lot of times you can get away with slower shutter speeds. And that's when you really lower down your ISO numbers. Not only you don't have to deal with noise, it's not the noise. Guys, don't misunderstand me. I never care about noise. I've always said this, noise doesn't bother me. It's the loss of dynamic range. It's the loss of tonality. It's the loss of color fidelity. The photos will look like it's very smeared painterly. It loses the fine details, right? So when you shoot at ISO 200, 400, if you can lower it down, Or even ISO 800 versus ISO 3200. ISO 800 will have a lot more fine details. It will look more realistic. Your photo will have more depth, more clarity, more fidelity. That's what you want, right? That's how the image stabilization really helps in this situation. And 5-axis image stabilization, for the lack of the way to quantify or measure its effectiveness, has completely changed this and spoiled me. I go back to, say, a DSLR, and imagine I shoot with a 50mm lens. You'll think that 1/80th, 1/100 is very safe. No. Oftentimes, when I shoot, maybe it's because I'm so used to image stabilization already, I didn't think too much about stabilizing my hands, steadying my hands, right? Even 1/80th, 1/100 of a second, I still get blur shots, especially shooting subjects that's very close, right? And with Micro Four Thirds, I shoot at 1/10th, 1/5, no issue. So I don't shoot that all the time. I don't shoot like half a second all the time. I don't shoot like 1/10 of a second all the time. But when you drop your shutter speeds, say about 1/50th, 1/25th, 1/40th, even 1/100th, right? If you're using long lenses, there is a chance of shake if your stabilization is not good enough. So because the stabilization of the EM1 Mark II and the OM1, they are so good, I don't even have to think. That part that deals with, whether my hand is shaking or whether it's a camera shake or blur due to like camera motion, that part is erased. I can free up that part of my mind to deal with something else, to capture the moment, to focus on the lighting, my composition, my storytelling. I don't have to constantly worry about, I don't have to constantly watch my shutter speeds. Oh, shutter speed drops to 1/50th of a second, no problem. Oh, shutter speed drops to 1/10th, nothing is moving, no problem. I can just click, still get a sharp shot. So because I free up that part of my mind, it enables me to become a better photographer by focusing on getting other parts of the photos right. Trust me, a lot of times I've seen even other photographers that think that there's no blur in their photograph. They think that their photos are sharp, right? When you look at a computer screen, when they deliver to clients, especially when I shoot in the groups, even my clients will point out like, hey, Aaron, why is this photo blur? You know, like, and then Aaron will say, I didn't know. When I took the photograph, it looks fine. This kind of problem does not exist when you use Micro Four Thirds. And it's kind of sad because it also took Panasonic a while to catch on. For the longest time, they also stick with like no image stabilization in the camera rule until like, was it the GX series camera came out and then the G9? I think the GX7 was the first camera that has image stabilization. I don't know which one was it. And then the G9, only so much later on, then the Panasonic realized the importance of having the 5-axis image stabilization. The GH5 came after the G9, right? The GH3, GH4, GH2, they don't have image stabilization earlier on. But Olympus already had image stabilization from day one. And to me, it just changes the way I do my photography. It enables me to be a better photographer. I don't have to constantly worry about whether my photo is blurred or not. Instead of just take a photo, zoom in and check. No, I'm confident the camera nails the shot every single time, right? So yeah, I've been talking a lot about like how image stabilization is important to me. Well, that's my experience. I don't want to invalidate everyone's experience. So it's your turn to share how image stabilization has impacted your photography. Do you think it's important? Well, I understand everyone has different opinion. Like earlier, who was it again? Photos say, I don't care much about image stabilization. That's fine, you know, like we all do photography differently. Maybe you put your camera on the tripod at all times. There are photographers that have a camera on the tripod in the studio. Obviously, if that's the situation, the image stabilization doesn't really matter, right? So yeah, I mean, I do handheld 99% of the time for my jobs or for my personal photography. So hand holding with the image stabilization, it just helps me to be a better photographer, right? So yeah, so share your thoughts. Whether you've learned something new from my sharing, I would like to know about that, about how to count the stops effectiveness, or like what the 5-axis is, or you know, like the CIPA standards. Yeah, let me know. Let me drink some water. It's almost 11 o'clock. It's 5 minutes to 11. I am very thirsty because it's very hot tonight. It is still 29 degrees in my room. Let me drink some water, drink some coffee, and get back to the chat. And then I'll share my first set of photographs. Gotta stay hydrated. and some coffee. And let me get to the chat. All right. Andrew says, yep, you can see the sensor moving. Thanks, I was trying so hard. It's not easy, right? Like, there's a camera in front of me and it's, never mind. As long as you can see it. Kevin says, nasi goreng or rendang? Goreng, it's a fried rice. I had fried rice. Hey Kevin, nice to see you. Kevin says, image stabilization is invaluable taking handheld photos at night. Not just at night, like for, I think, all situations, right? Even during like bright sunlight, you think you don't need it, but it's like constantly working to ensure that you have sharp images, right? Yeah, Gregory says, nasi goreng. Yeah, my mom and dad made the best nasi goreng ever. Oh, Gregory. Yeah, I actually think, like, this is going to sound controversial. I think Thailand and Indonesia, they have better nasi goreng than Malaysia, because I've been to both places and I love the nasi goreng. Anyway, I'm not saying Malaysia has bad nasi goreng, right? I just think they do it differently. And man, I really enjoy Thailand's fried rice. It's just crazy. Right, let's get to the non-members chat. Yumi says, I like how you are confident enough to pour water over your cameras and lenses. Why not? Like, seriously, if my camera dies, I'll just have to knock on OM Systems or Olympus door and say, hey, you know, you claim that I can pour water on it and the camera died, so you gotta fix it for me. But luckily nothing died, nothing happened, right? So I poured water on this 60 f2.8 like countless times already, at least 4 or 5 times. Not on this EM1, this EM1 is a bit too old. The rubber texture thing has come off. I poured water on the OM1 like at least 5 times already, so yeah. Jacopo says, Sony's image stabilization is horrible. Maybe they don't really put too much emphasis on making it really effective, right? Like I said, Olympus back in the day, they really emphasized on 2 things. One, have a really sensitive gyro to detect the movement, right? The more sensitive, the better, the quicker they can respond. And 2, processor. Like, I don't know about the latest cameras because I don't go for product trainings. And previously, when I worked for Olympus, I went to Japan and the R&D team will come out and actually told us some, not secrets, but things about the cameras that a lot of people don't know about. So the EM1 Mark II had a dual quad processor, meaning that they have 2 quad processors, and meaning that in total they have 8 cores of processors. Each core is dedicated to do different things. One is for autofocus, one is for read and write, writing to the card, right? One is for the electronic viewfinder and the LCD screen view. Another one is for image processing, like RAW or JPEG. And I know one is specifically for image stabilization, just for image stabilization. So out of the 8 cores, 1 is for image stabilization. That's how important image stabilization is for Olympus back then, right? So I don't know if newer cameras will have more cores for image stabilization. Lila says Sony 6500, 6700 have image stabilization, but it's pretty poor. Yeah, it works pretty well for stills, but video is not great. Yeah, video is an entirely different thing. I don't want to claim that, like I said, I know or I'm an expert, right? So better not say things that I'm not aware of. Whatever that I have shared, I was very sure about those facts. Hey Tomato, how are you? Nice to see you here. Tomato says, good evening, Robin. And joining in a bit late. No worries, my photos are always blur. Why are they always blur? Andrew says, Thailand fried rice is with lard. Yeah, makes a huge difference. Not necessarily. I don't know what. It's not just lard, right? Like Indonesia, they don't put lard. But Indonesia's fried rice is so good. Mike says, I'm wondering if anyone notices any difference using image stabilization settings for horizontal or vertical panning. I have not noticed any improvement over auto mode. If I do panning, I just turn it off. I don't want anything to interfere with my panning. You see, I want the blur, right? Yeah, so and it's like, I don't want to have to switch, you know, like vertical, horizontal. When I turn, and I have to go to the settings, it's like the thing is happening in front of me. I just want to be able to shoot. So just turn it off. For me, it works better that way. Yeah. Andrew says, kind of agrees. Sony image stabilization is kind of there, but not there. I find it effective if both lens and the body is turned on. All right. Yeah. Gary says, maybe a core for each axis. Nah, that's too much. And a word of caution for you guys. If your lens, Micro Four Thirds lens, has an image stabilization switch, right? If you turn that switch off, it doesn't mean that you turn the lens image stabilization off. A lot of people have made the wrong assumption that, oh, if the body has image stabilization, and if the lens has image stabilization, you attach the lens with image stabilization on the camera body. And if you turn off the lens image stabilization, you still have the body stabilization. No. If you turn that switch on the lens off, everything is turned off. If you turn the switch on, depending on what lens you use, if it has 5-axis sync, if your body is compatible, you have the 5-axis sync. You can only turn it on and off. You can't really choose whether it's lens or body if there's sync. If there's no sync, that's when you can find the settings, the camera that shows lens priority or body priority. Again, if you turn it on, means if you select the lens priority, if you turn it on, means lens image stabilization on. If you turn it off, means everything is turned off. You can't really choose. The on off on the lens doesn't mean that the lens is on and off. Got to be very, very careful. So I would say leave it on. Just leave it on. Don't fiddle with it. That's my best advice. Yeah. Andrew says, Sony's video active steady shot image stabilization crop is insanely close. Any wide shot definitely needs a very wide angle lens. But that's not really image stabilization, right? That is just crop, right? It's just crop. So yeah, it's not mechanical stabilization. Lila says, when I bought the Olympus EM1 for my friend with your money, I was jealous of how good the image stabilization is in the camera. I know, right? It is so good. Yeah, the EM1, that's the one I have here, EM1. Oops, let me put it down there so I don't drop it. Dave says, I think that's the reason why GH5S wasn't so popular. It has better low light performance, but doesn't have a Micro Four Thirds weapon. I think Panasonic had a different thought when they design their cameras. For the longest time, they have this mentality that says, oh, if you are a serious filmmaker, you will use proper equipment, right? Like a gimbal or a tripod or a slider or whatever to stabilize your shot. You wouldn't rely on the camera's image stabilization. The camera's stabilization can only go so far. That's what they're thinking. They also think that, oh, if you're a serious filmmaker, you use manual focus. So they don't care about face detection autofocus. But what they've missed out on, the biggest mistake that Panasonic made is that people don't use the cameras for cinematography or make Hollywood productions. People use these cameras to make videos on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. And most of the time, it's only one-man crew. Most of the time, like myself, I'm a one-man do it all, right? A solo creator. I can't deal with like 10 equipments. I can't bring a slider, a tripod, a gimbal, and multiple lighting equipments and multiple things. I can't. I can only carry a small bag, be as agile as possible. Sometimes I don't even have a tripod. Everything is handheld. I have to run and gun. So if you do everything handheld, image stabilization is important. If you're just one person, if I set up a tripod, if I hit record, I want the camera to find my face immediately. I don't want to manual focus and second guess whether I'm in focus or not. So that's the biggest mistake that Panasonic is doing. They wanted to target the cinematographer crowd. They think that more and more people are going to make independent films, but come on. Really? I don't know how they can make this mistake, right? It took them the longest time to realize that, hey, YouTube is a huge thing, and people on YouTube, they don't make videos or like don't make like movies, right? They just make content, like just general content for consumption, right? And like this kind of live stream video, this setup, it's not cinematic or it's not gonna pass for a broadcast channel. Who cares? I'm still here. I'm making a YouTube video, and this channel is fairly doing quite okay, right? I don't need like a top-grade cinema camera for that. So I think they're missing the boat during that time. It took them some time to realize that, and of course, they fixed the problem much later on. I'm thankful that, better late than never, right? So yeah. All right. Mike says, I leave image stabilization on at all times, even when panning. I find half-press shutter engaging image stabilization makes it easier to follow the subject. Shutter speed still controls blur just fine. I show the air shows. Yeah, just leave it to auto. The camera will take care of the rest, all right? Yeah, definitely. Just going to reply to a few more chats, and then we'll start with the photo sharing. Jonathan says, Nikon DSLR user for 11 years, and in my opinion, nothing they have in lens VR compares to image stabilization in Micro Four Thirds. I'm so glad I switched systems, just all-around benefits in every way for me. Yeah, The benefit is huge. It's like you don't even have to think about camera shake, right? It's like one less problem to deal with when you are shooting, right? So you can focus on your craft, you can focus on getting like a better image, right? Rather than just constantly worrying about, oh, do I have enough shutter speed? Do I have to increase my ISO and everything? Yeah, Jari says, I once tried to take an artistic photo using intentional camera movement with the EPL8. Forgot to switch off the image stabilization. I got very sharp image. You see, that's how scary effective the stabilization is, right? Like, amazing, right? Yeah. Yes, that's an amazing amount of movement. That's correct. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Nice to see you here. JSV says, I started photography 35 years ago on a film. I can remember wishing there was some way to stabilize the camera so I could handhold lower speeds. Image stabilization is the answer to my prayers. Yeah. It's like, some people will say, oh, because of technology, it makes us lazy. I agree. Sometimes too much innovation, too much tech, like all this AI computational stuff, it just take away all these challenges, all these technical challenges. But in another way of looking at things is that they are taking care of these technical challenges so that you can focus more on the creative side of photography, right? Because to take a good photograph, it's not just a sharp photograph. A sharp photograph means nothing. But a blur photograph, or a photograph that is like, it's not 100% sharp, it's ruined, right? You can't fix it in post. But a sharp photograph still means nothing. It's still up to the photographer to put in the meaning, to put in the idea, the emotion, the story aspect of the photograph to make it more interesting. Yeah. So I guess image stabilization just take away that challenge, which is fine. I mean, to me, it's not a big deal. Yumi says, for me, I like the in-body image stabilization because I can use modern and film lenses on mirrorless cameras. That's true. Whatever you attach on the camera is automatically stabilized, right? Okay. I will put a pause on here and I'll start sharing my first image, but let me drink more water because I am thirsty. And we'll share first set of photographs. We have 2 sets of photographs to share. Do I still have coffee? All right. Okay. Let's see. Where is my photograph? So, this is Merdeka 118 Tower. Currently, this is the world's second tallest building. And the reason why I was inspired to dig out all my photographs of this Merdeka 118 Tower was because of the latest movie by Marvel superhero movie, Thunderbolts. How many of you have watched Thunderbolts? I just caught it a few days ago in the cinema. I thought it was a great movie. I enjoyed it tremendously. The opening scene was Florence Pugh. Is that how I pronounce her name? Who plays Yelena in the movie. She jumped off from the top of that Merdeka 118 Tower, which is insane. And I'm just so stoked because, hey, Malaysia is shown in a large budget Hollywood movie, right? The opening sequence was this Merdeka 118. There was another one at the old HSBC building near Masjid Jamek. It's like the area where I always do my street photography at. She blew up that building, which is crazy. The building is fine, by the way. The building is still there. It wasn't blown or anything. So yeah, the opening sequence was taken from the top of this Merdeka 118 building. So I thought I was inspired by that, and I've been around Kuala Lumpur streets a lot. And almost every time I was out there, I will find a way to shoot a photograph of this Merdeka 118. So this is like a series of photographs I've taken of that Merdeka 118 building with different compositions and different ways of portraying the building. So this particular shot was at Petaling Street, Chinatown. That explains the red lanterns. It's, of course, Chinatown, right? So I just find it's very nice because this is the crack of a building. So it's an opening between 2 buildings. And the building walls were painted in yellow, whereas this is in stark contrast with the red lanterns and the blue building, the Merdeka 118 and the blue sky. So you have like all these primary colors coming in together. You have yellow, you have bright red, you have this bold blue, and the building has like sharp edges. Like everything is like so, what do you call that? It's a geometrical thing, right? All the lines, sharp lines and everything. And then you have those lanterns, which are in circular, in shape. So there's a lot of like contrast and everything like complementing each other. I thought that this whole photograph was just to me, it looks nice. I like this particular frame. Yeah. All right. And this was, believe it or not, taken with a Nikon D50. Taken last year in August or I think it's September, could be September. It was a photo walk with Azul and Grace. They had their previous exhibition at Stadium Merdeka. So this was very near Stadium Merdeka, looking up. I was using the 35 f2 Yongnuo lens on my Nikon D50. 6 megapixels. And people think, oh, I gotta get that Fuji GFX 100 RF. 100 megapixels. Oh my goodness. Look at the medium format quality. Eat that, medium format. 6 megapixels for the win. I thought the photograph looks fine. Like, I love the texture of the clouds and everything, and how the building reflects the sky. It's like the building is almost disappearing into the sky. It's just, I just love this shot a lot. And it's like different days you go out and take photographs, you get different kind of feel and look to that building. It's just amazing. Yeah, and of course this was taken on a clear sky on a different facade with the starburst of the sun shining on it. This is also a D50. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna go through it. This was taken from a distance. I believe this was a taken on a Panasonic 15 f1.7. I had a photo walk with that lens. Yeah. So taken from a distance, a different angle. If you walk around the building, you get different views of the building, which is very, very, very interesting. Yeah. And this was a more recent shot. I think this was taken a few weeks ago. This was last week's video of me talking about the EM1. I was doing a photo walk with the EM1, and this was taken with the 25 f1.8. So I want layers. So of course there's the lantern, there's the foreground, and there's the buildings and the sky. So there's like multiple layers of all the things coming together. Yeah. Yellow lanterns. This is from Petaling Street. This was just taken last Sunday. I think last Sunday, right? I went out last Sunday. I was with Azul as well last Sunday. With Rippy. Rippy is still here. Yeah, we were out last Sunday taking this shot. Yeah. And of course, finding the Merdeka 118 between buildings. If I remember correctly, this was shot on the TT Artisan 75 f2. I was testing that lens on my Nikon Z5. So yeah, so I like to frame the building between buildings. This is some interplay with urban architecture, which is fun. This was also a D50, much nearer, but I think I was shot this on the 50 f1.8 Nikon, looking up. Yeah, 50mm lens. Right, more framing buildings on buildings, more texture in the background, right, or foreground, shall I say. The tree and the building, providing some textures and layers, right? Some black and white, some geometry play here. Right, some foreground buildings in the foreground, doing like a triangular shape thing, just trying to be creative. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really care. A lot of photography is about experimentation. I just got to try. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, who cares? You don't lose anything, right? Just try first, figure out later. If it works, you learn something. If it doesn't work, you still learn something, right? Yeah, so this is a lot tighter. Again, I think this is 75 f2. And yeah, different view again from a different angle, different location, right? From a pedestrian sign to the Times Square building on the left, right? Yeah. Shooting between gaps and openings. This is at Pudu Market, near the Pudu Market, which I shoot a lot at, near the wet market area. And of course, the building covered in leaves on a tree. I love to play things like this, partially hidden, don't show everything, keep some things to mystery, right? I was hoping, actually, I'm not out enough. If I'm out more, I would have caught more photographs of the building covered in clouds. I have some shots of the building covered in clouds, but they don't look nice. That's why I'm not showing it here. And believe it or not, I was on the way to see Mati Sulanto in this particular shot. I was walking from Hang Tuah, going to Bukit Bintang, and saw this. I stopped and took this photograph. This was about a year ago. I was on the way to meet Mati Sulanto when he was still in Kuala Lumpur. So yeah, and this was in Pudu as well, on the way to the market. The wind is blowing. Oh, it doesn't blow off my nasi goreng. And more in the gap. I like to shoot through gaps. You guys should have figured it out already. And yeah, this is just, sometimes simplicity works best. I love this shot because the building is almost in the shadow, it's backlit, and then there's like some puffs of clouds in the background. Sometimes, just keep things simple, don't overthink, don't overdo. simplicity works. Just don't. Sometimes we photographers, we want to do so much, right? Layers, we want to do like creative composition, framing, like trying to do all this kind of weird edits and colors and everything. No, just keep it simple. Sometimes simplicity works best. And yeah, that's it. That's all the photographs I have for the Merdeka 118. The second part of the sharing later will be on Inside Macro. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I want to get to the chat first. I hope you guys enjoyed the sharing. Let me just drink some water and coffee and I'll get to the chat. Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Marvel movie, not sponsored by the way, Thunderbolts, please check it out. I thought it was quite fun. And I think it's a good time to remind everyone that I have annual membership. So with just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me. You get early access to my videos. You see my videos 24 hours before everyone else. We also have members-only live streams every month where you can come in and interact with me a little bit more. If you're a member, I'll prioritize my replies to your comments first, whether it's in my new or old videos. Also, if you come into live streams, I will definitely respond to your chats first before non-members. I've taken down some older videos. Those videos were not performing well. I don't want YouTube to dilute this algorithm. I want YouTube to continue to push my newer videos to a wider audience. So I took these older videos down. They were not performing well. These videos include tips and tricks on composition, black and white photography, and how to get sharp images doing macro. I also have a lot of street photography POV where you can see what's happening around me and in front of me before I click my shutter button, how I compose my shots. If you want full access to these videos, you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me besides joining as a member. You can buy me a cup of coffee using this link. You can also contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my Amazon or B&H affiliate links. All links in the descriptions below on how you can support me. Any contribution goes a long way, will definitely help me to continue making more videos, continue to share as much as I can with you guys here, right? Any support is appreciated. To those who have contributed, thank you so much. There's no Robin One without you, and you have helped me a lot. All right, so let's get back to the chat. Let's go to members first, as promised. Tomato says, I don't have image stabilization at 500 millimeters. I think my usable photo rate is about 1%. Oh, 500. What camera are you using? You can set the stabilization to 500, right? What's the longest on this EM1? I know the new one, you can set like 1000 or more. Let's see. Image stabilization. Yeah, there's 1000 here. Oh, I probably can't see that. Yeah, you can set to 1000. Easy. No problem. Yeah. Screw megapixel counts. What matters is the great shot. Thank you so much. Tomato says, I like simple, but I really like the layers with the pedestrian sign. Oh, thank you so much. I guess also like, put a bit of variety. If every single shot is layered, it's gonna look very messy. You get what I mean? So sometimes like, in a series of photographs, let's say you have like 10, 15 shots, maybe one or two or a few will be like a plain, clean shot, minimalistic, and a few are layered to have a bit more variety in terms of composition and how you present the subject, right? So it's all about being creative and about trying to do things a bit differently. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the non-members chat. Thomas says, I switched to an Olympus EM1 Mark III from Canon 70D, largely in part of the not just image stabilization, but sync IS with the 12-100. That lens is the holy grail of travel lens, not even debatable. Yeah, we haven't even talked about sync IS, right? I don't want to repeat it because I've said it in my recent video on Monday. So everything about 5-axis sync IS, what it is, how it works, I've really talked about it in that video. Please check it out, the video about the 100-400 Mark II OM system. I brought it out to Bird Park and I tested the 5-axis sync IS. I talk about that in that video. So yeah. Kanchem says, amazing that $150 all EM5 had 5-axis image stabilization. It's not like some fancy film simulation. You can't see it, but for sure you can feel it. That's why all Olympus Panasonic had more value than other brands. That's true. And even the EM5, the image stabilization is really so good. Joe says, G9 Mark II 100-400 with full digital stabilization almost negates the need for a tripod monopod. What do you mean by digital stabilization? I don't think G9 Mark II had digital stabilization unless you talk about video. Video's digital stabilization is also debatable. A lot of filmmakers or videographers will shoot without the digital stabilization, and then they'll stabilize in post because it's technically the same anyway, and they have more control of how much stabilization they want to apply later rather than the fixed crop that they get from the digital stabilization in camera, right? So yeah, but in photography, like if you're taking stills, there's no such thing as digital stabilization. So yeah, Joe says also why there is a food name in the background. Of course, because I'm a proud Malaysian. I love my Malaysian food. Juliet says, hi Robin, I'm using EM1 Mark II and the 60 macro for film scanning. So far so good, but can you offer any tips? Do you know if I should adjust stabilization? I have no advice to give on the film scanning part because I've never done that. But if you are using a Micro Four Thirds lens, an electronic lens from Panasonic, Olympus, on a Micro Four Thirds body, everything is already automated. Don't touch anything. Everything is already there. So as long as you have turned on the stabilization, just leave it on. It will work as it should, right? Don't do anything crazy. Dave says, one thing I really miss in image stabilization compared to gimbal is constant horizontal level. I mean for video use. Ah, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Sri R says, I have issues with big lenses when taking shots of night, sky, moon. What issues? What issues are you having? Juliet says, also thank you for the crash course on image stabilization. I learned a couple of things. No worries. As I mentioned, I share, I don't know if you guys realize, like every time I talk about something, I share everything. I don't hold back. Like whatever I know, I'll just put it all out there. You know, some creators were like, oh, okay, I'll share like a surface level. And then if you want more advanced stuff, then you have to pay for the courses or like online workshops or online class or something. It's like a paywall to the knowledge. I don't do that. Like all the videos that I put out, every tips, every sharing that I've done, I just share 100%. I don't hold back. So sometimes people ask, Robin, do you have more to share? I'm like, I share everything. Like literally I pull out everything out there. Like, I'm like that. I can't picture myself holding back information because I believe information should be free. You get what I mean? I don't want to hold why would I want to hoard this knowledge, right? It doesn't make sense. When I share, I just want everyone to know, and I think everyone should know all these basics, right? It will enable you to be a better photographer, right? You may not need to know everything, but sometimes some things may apply to the photography that you do. And if it helps you, I'll be very, very happy. So yeah, like I don't see how some people will say, oh, if you want to learn more, please go to my, like sort of page and then pay money. And no, I don't do that. Dave says, I'm not sure, but Lumix low-budget cameras didn't have image stabilization before. Yeah, like I said, it's only Olympus. Panasonic learned about this very, very, very late. That's the mistake that Panasonic made. Well, still, better late than never, right? Yeah. Sri says, I have older version of the 100 to 400. Okay, that's great. That's good for you. Michelle says, I'm very happy with the image stabilization on my EM1. Is there a big difference with EM1 Mark II? Oh, huge difference. Let's see. EM1 had like, how many stops? EM1 Mark 1. I can't remember all these details. How many stops? Stabilization. I think it's 3.5 stops. 3 stops. So EM1 Mark 1 has 3 stops. Okay. I think it was Olympus claim is 4 stops, but I think it was measured at 3. EM1 Mark II, I believe, is 4 stops. 5.5 stops. So EM1 Mark II has 5.5 stops. So from 3 stops to 5.5, that's a lot. Even if it's 3 stops to 4 stops, 1 stop is a lot, right? So yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Let's see if we have any members chat. Kerr says the bottom of Merdeka is a perpetual mystery. No, the funny thing, have you watched the movie? No, the funny thing is like, okay, I'm gonna give some spoilers. But this spoilers is not gonna affect anything because you're not in Malaysia. You only know this if you're in Malaysia. If you're not in Malaysia, you're fine. So, Yelena jumped off the top of the building, right? So she literally jumped off like when she landed on the next building, it's like 1 kilometer away from that building. Nobody knows this. You can't see it in the scene now, of course. They didn't show her really land. But it's like that building that she landed on to plant the bomb in, it's like 1 kilometer away. For a Malaysian, it's like mind blown. It's like, what? That's not where the locations of the buildings are. But anyway, that's just how it is, right? Yeah. Andrew says, we need a shot of Robin on Merdeka 118 Marvel approved. Nah, it's just too much hassle and cost and security to go all the way up there. It's just crazy. Yeah. Eric says, Robin, can you talk about the difference between using tele-lens with Sync IS, like the new 100 to 400 versus something like 75 to 300? Do you notice a major real difference? Definitely, definitely. When you have a long lens, I don't have a long lens with me now, when the lens is very long, so when you have the in-body stabilization, you see the lens is this long, right? So the body stabilization can't stabilize the shake that's happening on the lens at the long end. So if you use a long lens, the longer the lens is, once you have a lens IS, that IS in the lens is going to help stabilize the longer end. So let's say 75-300, if you shoot at 300, it's not going to be as effective as 100 to 400 Mark II that has a Sync IS. You need another IS at that lens just to stabilize, because the lens is just, whatever that's shaking on the lens, it's just too far away for the camera body to stabilize. It's just as simple as that. Yeah. Kanchem says, dual IS? Are you sure? Have you tried the 5-axis Sync IS from Olympus or OM system? Because if you've tried, you wouldn't say the dual IS. It doesn't compare. Nico says, hi Robin, thank you so much for explaining image stabilization. That will make for a great short. Love this, by the way. I guess, like, I've been experimenting with shorts. I don't even know if I want to continue making shorts. Like, the shorts, let me just pull out some data. Just see how much I'm earning from shorts. It's just very disheartening looking at the numbers. I put so much effort and I'm just earning like cents from the shorts. Let's say, just gonna quickly, right? So my recent short that's doing quite well is the Magic OK button. Okay, let's go to analytics. No, content. Content, shorts. Let's see my Magic OK button. Excellent street. Okay, let's see how much I'm earning. Revenue. So that video currently has 21,000 views. 21,000 views for shorts, right? Guess how much I'm earning? $1.05 for a 21,000 views video. So I earn $1. So if I get 100,000, that's 5 times, right? I'll get $5. So if I get 1 million, it's only like $50. It's kind of sad, right? Like, I have 20,000 views, I only get like $1. Like, what? I earn like maybe, I don't know. Let's say in a contrast, one of my recent videos that is doing well. Let's see. Let's say for example the EM1 video 2 weeks ago. Let's see how much I'm earning from that video. So the EM1 video, I have 11,000 views. So I have less than the shorts, right? The EM1 video is only 11,000 views. And I'm earning $57. In 2 weeks' time. $57 versus $1. So you see, right? Very simple comparison. The shorts, 20,000 views, 21,000 views, I earn $1. $1, right? A normal video, right? 11,000 views. Half of the view, I'm earning $57. Why should I be making shorts? Why am I wasting my time making shorts? Shouldn't I be focusing on video? I know, like, I've been saying many times, YouTube is not my main income. It's my secondary income. I'm a professional photographer. I have clients hiring me to shoot. I earn from shooting jobs for clients, right? That's where the money comes in. But then again, I don't have a lot of spare time. I should be spending my spare time more wisely, right? So there's shorts, 20,000 views with $1. And a video, 10,000 views with $57. I think the answer is simple, right? Why I'm not making shorts anymore. So yeah. Clement says, hi Robin, I'm joining late. No worries, just glad that you're here. Just an anecdote. I tried the manual 24mm lens after playing with the 500mm manual lens. The image stabilization got me seasick until I noticed wrong focal length. Yes, that's the thing that I always remind people to always set your focal length if you're using a manual focusing lens. Very, very, very important. Yeah. Jonathan says, again from Nikon to Micro Four Thirds, first thing I noticed right away, my keeper rate went up a lot. Really miss on my EM1 or G9. Yeah. In terms of like, you don't have to deal with camera shake anymore, right? It's like, it helps you to boost that confidence in nailing the shot, and it's working without you even knowing. It's there. You don't even realize it. Like, it's constantly stabilizing your shot, right? It's so good. Yeah. Oh, we have a new member, I guess. Let's see. Oh, Juliet. I guess you just renewed a membership, right? I remember you were already a member. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Juliet. I appreciate the support. Oriel says, currently using the old EM5 from my dad, making me want to buy a new one. No, you don't have to. Like, are you happy with the EM5? If you're happy, continue using it. If you are not happy, why are you not happy? Then we have to talk about the shortcomings of the camera. Of course, it is a 13 years old camera. There are some things that it's not doing very well compared to the modern technology these days. Then you figure out the things you want to upgrade to. But if the camera still works, I still use the EM5 from time to time for my shutter therapy. I see no reason to upgrade, right? Yeah. Getting a new camera doesn't automatically make you a better photographer, so that's something very important to have in mind. DW says, traditionally, manual focusing is at least 120 film or medium format. Sorry, 645 is smallest, called medium format. 4433 is closer to 35. 605, using the logic, you can call a sensor 25 by 37 a medium format. All right, yeah. Okay, David says, I have a hand tremor. Image stabilization is the only reason I can still take good pictures. Without it, I can't get a sharp shot below 1/125. Yeah. Yeah, it helps, right? Like, people don't realize how important it is. It makes a huge difference. Even if I don't have hand tremor, you don't see the movement in your hands, but there is movement. You don't realize it. Like, not all of us are surgeons, right? Even surgeons, there is like slight movement. And let's say that you've been out there walking for hours. You're sweating, it's hot. Are you sure that you can handhold the camera that steady? You know, like, so with the image stabilization, at least there's something there to help you to compensate for those micro movements, right? Yeah. Nico says, photographers have used movement and blurriness as an intent to their photography for a long time. That takes a lot of skill. Image stabilization is great because it lowers the barrier entry. Well, if you want intentional movement, just turn off the image stabilization. It's as easy as that, right? But if you want sharp images in challenging situations, not having the image stabilization it's a lot harder to achieve, right? So yeah, so you have more options. It just makes it a lot more flexible and gives you more options to play with, right? So yeah, having more options is not a bad thing. Eric says, speaking of pouring water on your cameras, what's your experience with OM system repairs and service? They've been okay. I haven't had anything sent for repair, honestly. Have I? Have I sent for any repair? I haven't haven't had any. Well, that's not true. My E5 stopped working. That's a DSLR. I just left it because I don't intend to get it fixed. Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything that was broken. There's one time, this is DSLR time, I had a problem while updating the firmware for a kit lens. It's a 1442, but it's a DSLR, not a Micro Four Thirds lens. Halfway through the firmware, something happened. The camera shuts down, and the lens was bricked. So I sent it in. Within a few days, they sent it back to me and it was fixed. So that was the only experience I had with the repair and service. So yeah, I can't really comment on that. We have another member. Oh, JSB, thank you so much for joining as a member. I appreciate the support. Welcome to the Photo Walk Buddies, and I hope you enjoy the perks. Welcome to the family. All right. Okay, thanks for the support, JSB. I appreciate that. Let me reply to a few more chats, and then we'll go for the second set of photographs. All right. Dave says, about Lumix, not only YouTubers is a big thing, event videography is also a big thing that needs good image stabilization and autofocus. Yeah, I know, right? And they have this thing that even their ambassadors, right? If you talk to some of the ambassadors before, they'll say, no, if you're a cinematographer, autofocus is not important. We just use manual focus. If you're serious about your craft, right? Nobody uses autofocus in making like actual movies. I'm like, I don't want to make movies. I don't care about Hollywood production. It's like, that's not what I want to do, right? And they'll say, like, oh, if you're serious about your craft, you know, like, you will use like gimbals. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to carry a gimbal when I film myself, right? When I'm doing my thing out there, doing my videos every week. I'm just one person. I'm not going to carry like kilograms and like 5 bags of gear. That's not going to work. The less the better, right? Yeah. Dave says, I hope Thunderbolts is good because the last Captain America wasn't. It's good. It's definitely good. It's better than Captain America, but I don't think it's as good as, like, say, Infinity Wars or Endgame. It's not the same level, but it's still a very good, solid movie. Raj says, I've been using Olympus micro four thirds since I've forgotten. I have so much confidence that the image stabilization that I've never carried a tripod. A few times that I did, it never came out of its packing. True, hey, like if you need 1 second, 2 seconds, no problem. But if you are shooting like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or longer exposure, you just use anything more than 2-3 seconds. Just use the tripod. I know you can brave it, but trust me, just use the tripod to save a lot of headaches later. Yeah, Dave says when you press the shutter button halfway with the OM1 Mark II and 100 to 400, when you take your finger off the shutter release, the stabilization drastically repositions the screen. It's not the stabilization that repositions the screen. It's like, what you call that? So let's say your sensor is here, right? But you move the camera because our hands, we have shake. So the stabilization will compensate for the movement. So what happens when you release the shutter button, when you don't have the stabilization activated already? So it defaults back to your movement. So you're seeing the view without the stabilization. So it's technically not the stabilization that repositioned the screen. It was already repositioned. So what you see later on after you release the finger is without the stabilization. So it was the default of what you're supposed to see without the stabilization. It shows how much the stabilization actually moves or compensates your movement. Yeah. Dave says, if some of the manufacturers develop in-body horizontal level control, that could be a nuclear weapon, but I think it's possible. Maybe they can. Who knows? One day, right? Technology, nothing is impossible. Nico, oh my god, that's an awful ROI on shorts. I completely agree with you. Thank you for being transparent and sharing this behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, like, I just want to be honest, right? Like, I don't know if you see my shorts, although it's shorts, but still I have to go out, sell my tripod. Like, the short may be only 1 minute long, but it still will take me like a few minutes to set up, 5 to 10 minutes to deliver my line properly, do some B-rolls and everything. It will still be like maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes staying outside. And I normally will do like 3 shorts. I'll do 3 shorts, or it will still be a 1 to 2 hours staying outside. Come back, I'll still need to spend like a lot of time to edit, maybe an hour or less, maybe not an hour, but half an hour including export to just edit one simple video. I need to type in the captions and everything. You know, it's still some work, right? It's not as much work as the full video, but you can see why it's really not worth it. Yeah, and there's no point hiding this fact, right? Yeah. Juliet says, Robin, I never joined you today. Oh, I didn't notice because you've always been around. So I just assumed that you are a member, Juliet. It's like, I've seen you in my stream so many times. I just consider you as a member. I was sending support other ways. I started to be a new member. Oh, thank you so much, Juliet. I really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. Jesse says, your comment about information being for everyone really resonated with me. I joined. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And even if you look at the videos that I've taken down, they are like extras. I'm not really holding back this information. And at one time, those videos were public. They were public for months or even a year or so. I just thought that maybe I should like just take them down, put them on members only, so that the algorithm will push my newer videos to a wider audience. But even so, there's nothing critical, nothing crucial about these videos, right? So yeah, I believe information should be free. Yeah, DW says, experience to repair service varies from location to location. That's correct, depending on where you are. More depends on the dealer than manufacturer. Not really though. If the manufacturer is there, if you have an official representation, let's say that there was an Olympus Malaysia, right? The service back then will be better than now without Olympus Malaysia because there's official presence, right? Yeah. Dev says, maybe the main problem of Sony's image stabilization is narrow lens mount, so there isn't enough space for the sensor to move because the lens won't cover. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We can only guess, right? Gigi Wallaf says, hi Robin, hope you are well. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you again. Thanks for dropping by. Pucho says, hello from New York City. Hey Pucho, how are you? Love your photo of the Cal skyline. Do you retouch the boost to mute the colors or get contrast? Thanks for informative video. No. I boost contrast. I don't mute colors. I don't touch the color usually, except adjusting white balance, but that's only if the lighting is a bit off whack. Daylight shots, I rarely touch the white balance. I always say this, if your camera cannot get the white balance right during daytime, you should probably look elsewhere. I'm looking at your Panasonic. Panasonic screws up white balance even during daytime. I don't understand why. Anyway, and they're the only one who screws up auto white balance during daytime. Everyone else got it right. Even Sony got the white balance right during daytime. Dave says, I hope Thunderbolts is close to Captain America. At least I don't have any exceptions to see another Endgame or Infinity War. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. Gary says, many of these older videos are excellent, worth joining to take a look. No worries. Thank you so much for that, Gregory. Toronto says, I've only heard bad things about shorts from creators, so many have just given up on it. Yeah, I know, right? It's just, I mean, I'm just sharing the same things on my normal videos anyway. You get what I mean? It's not like I'm doing anything different on shorts, it's just that it's shorter. And like, I mean, I'm not expecting to earn the same as my longer videos, but come on, 20,000 views with just $1. 20,000 views with just $1. That's really bad, right? Like, I understand the video is not doing well. Let's say the video only get like 100 views or 200 views. I don't get anything. That's fine. But that's a 20,000 views. That's a fairly good performing video, right? Of shorts. And I only get $1. Like, what do I have to do? Like, seriously. So anyway, enough complaints. Robin, I should be thankful. I should not be making so much complaints. I should be thankful because I have you guys here and, you know, I have a platform. So there's more things to be happy about than be sad about. So yeah. Okay, I've caught up the comments. Let me get to the second part of my sharing. There are more photos to be shared. So for this one, I need to do things a little bit differently. So give me a moment. I need to go to Windows screen. All right, and I need to go to full screen for this. All right, so for this particular sharing, it's actually macro photography. I've been trying to do more macro recently, and these photographs are shot for a video that I made, and I've made a video already. The video will be released maybe 1 or 2 months from now. I do keep a buffer about 6 or 7 videos just in case. I'm busy, I have jobs coming in, I can't make any videos, so I'll release these videos in time. I want to have consistent videos every week. That's the part of the YouTube game. If you want to play YouTube, you must have consistent uploads. You miss your uploads, well, your numbers are going down. So these shots were taken at Bukit Gasing with the OM1 in the 60mm macro. I can't show you OM1 because the OM1 is used for this live stream now. With this lens, the 60 f2.8 lens, and the 8K diffuser that was sent to me by Emily Taupin. So, well, my diffuser is on another room, so I can't show you. But it's shown in that video that I'm about to release in a month or two. So thank you so much. Shout out to Emily Taupin. She's a fantastic OM System ambassador. Do check it out. I should leave a link to her channel, so please subscribe to her. Let me just put her link here. Let me see. YouTube Emily Taupin. If I can find her link. Just a thank you to her. Okay. Why is it so long? Emily Taupin. Anyway, I'll just put this channel here. Video home. Okay, Emily T. Copy. Okay, Emily Taupin's channel. Okay, please subscribe to her channel if you have not done so. So that's the link to her channel. So thank you so much, Emily, for sending the diffuser all the way to Malaysia from the US. Well, the story is she came to my live stream some time ago, I think about half a year ago, and then I asked, hey, I noticed that Emily's channel almost hit 10,000 subscribers. Can you guys just go to her channel and we all make her reach 10,000 now? And my audience did. They responded immediately, and she was so happy she hit 10,000 subscribers. So she sent me like a care package, a thank you package, all the way from the US. It included some food, a book, some stickers, some magnets, and the AK diffuser, which was amazing. So this was my first time testing the AK diffuser on my EM1 or my 60 f2.8 macro. So it was my first time testing it. So yeah, so these are the results. So yeah, so you can look at this. Amazing, just amazing. Every time I use the Olympus 60 f2.8 macro, it's just crazy, right? Look at the details. It's just crazy sharp. Nursery web spider. So for Gregory and some of the members that joined last week, sorry, you guys have seen this already in 2 weeks ago in my live stream, members only live stream. So if you are members, if you come to my members only live stream, you have advanced viewing of some of my photographs. So to some of the members, this will be a bit boring. So yeah, and cricket, I normally don't shoot crickets, and I do this because there are some red patches on the leaf. We don't get a lot of red color. Usually it's just boring green. So I found this cricket on this leaf that has some red color patches. So I thought, yeah, that would be fun rather than all this boring green, right? And this leaf has some texture as well, which is really cool. Normally it's just plain leaf with nothing. So yeah. Damselfly. Right, look at the eye. This is crazy. If you're wondering about camera settings, I think it's about f5.6 or f8. ISO 200, 1/250th of a second shutter speed. It's all the same. Flash power I adjust manually, and it's a AK diffuser. So first time testing this, I'm quite happy with the diffuser. Normally I have my single hand, one hand with the flash and diffuser, one hand with camera and lens technique. I still prefer that technique to some degree because I'm more flexible in case the insect is hiding beneath the leaf. I noticed that when a spider caught something and the spider is eating something, it's always beneath the leaf. And if I'm using the AK diffuser, I can't turn it around. It just doesn't work. So with my wireless flash technique, I can do that. So that's the only weakness or the only complaint about the diffuser. I actually have another complaint if I can find the thing that I want to talk about. So yeah, look at the compound eyes. It's crazy. Look at the details on the body. It's just amazing. It's just crazy, right? Every time I shoot with this 60 f2.8 macro, I just get blown away by the quality. It's just crazy. Something is about to happen to this insect. Well, not the exact insect, but yeah. Ta-da! And not this one. I think it's another one later on. You'll see it. The insect, something will happen. So I don't have a better angle to shoot this spider. Spider was eating something. So it's always nice when the spider eats something. Because this spider was suspended in this web. And if I were to move in from a different angle, let's say from the top, right, it would have touched the web. And you don't want that to happen, because if that happens, the spider will run away. So this was the best I can do with this particular shot. Not the best shot, I admit. I need to go out more to get better shots. That's the thing. If you want better shots, whatever photography that you're doing, macro, street, landscape, whatever, right? Birds, anything, even architecture, whatever, or portraits, you just need to shoot more. And I'm not spending enough time doing my macro photography. I'm just being honest here. So yeah, flies, having some fun, some really cool fun, and they are at it for, I think, more than half an hour. So I walked by this couple, I took some shots, and I went on another trail and came back. They're still at it. Like, man, like they are at it for maybe an hour or more. It's fun. I'm not sure if this was alive, but I think it moved. So yeah, so anyway, just quickly going through jumping spiders. Oh, look at that, look at the details. Jumping spiders. And I've taken so many jumping spiders, and this was on a more textured ground. Not ground, it's the tree bark actually. So this was, I was shooting down. So yeah, I thought like having a nice ground, look at that. It's nice, right? Different texture. So yeah, that's the jumping spider. Look at that. It's crazy. Look at the fangs. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the spider. Crazy, 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 crazy. And same spider, just the spider never stopped moving. So I can never understand how people can do focus stacking. Like the spider just moves and moves and moves and moves. It keeps moving. So of course I keep following the spider around, just click, 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 click. Every single click is different. It's just crazy. And out of the hundreds of clicks that I've taken, I think at least half of them are in the shots that I want, or some of them would have been the shots that actually made it, right? Like, look at the details. It just keeps moving and moving and moving. It's just, I don't know how anyone can do focus stacking. Like, maybe they are in colder countries where nothing moves. I don't know. It's a jumping spider. It jumps. Like, it jumps, right? Oh, this actually jump on my lens. It literally jumped on my lens, like literally. Yeah. The spiders are not scared of humans. Like all this, from this sleeve to this, like it just happened within like less than 30 seconds. It just kept moving and moving. I mean, spider is active. The spiders are really, really active. Like, how the hell am I gonna stack this shot to this shot to this shot? How? Tell me how. Like, I know some photographers, oh, we've done it. I'm like, I don't see it. I just can't. I don't see it. And from this shot to my lens, it just jumped on my lens, right? It's just crazy. Oh, this is the thing that I don't like about this diffuser. Look at the shape on the eye. That's the shape of the diffuser. It's so prominent. Like, I wish it wasn't like that, but I guess that's the price you have to pay, right? When you have like big eyes like this, it reflects whatever that gives light. The diffuser is where the flash comes from, right? So it's gonna reflect on the eye. It's very prominent. So yeah, not the worst thing. I think the worst will be the ring flash. If a ring flash is like one ring, right? It's just so obvious, and that's even more annoying. So at least it's better than the ring flash. That's why I don't use ring flash or ring LED light. Yeah. So this was the insight earlier. Let me just find that insight again quickly. This was this same type, not the exact same insight, but this is this thing. Yeah. So there you go. Ta-da! Poor thing. And look at the web. Look at the web thing. It's being tied down. I think it's gonna be mummified, and yeah, this spider is gonna have a nice meal on this fly, a type of fly, I think. Yeah. So there. Oh, I took this shot because of this leaf. Again, like when the spider is on an interesting leaf, yeah, you don't see it often, right? So this leaf has like patterns and everything, so it's nice. Oh, look at that, nursery web spider. So yeah, this is a close up. Not the same spider, not the exact same spider, but same species, same type of spider. So yeah, that's it. That's all the macro shots that I have. Some highlights. I like this shot. I thought it was really nicely done. All right, I quite like this as well for the texture on the ground, right? You don't get this kind of texture a lot. I like this because of some action. Well, not very uncommon shot. I guess if you go out enough, you get all these insects having sex all the time. It's quite a normal shot. Nothing to shout about, I guess, but still quite like it. And yeah, I wish this was taken a little bit better, but I can't. Like I said, it's surrounded by web. So I just need to find another one eating something else to get a better shot. But yeah, this is the best I can do with this shot. So yeah, I guess that's it for my macro sharing. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys did enjoy that. So yeah, that's Emily's. Thank you so much, Emily, for the AK diffuser. I really love it, and I will use it more. Let me open up this. I accidentally closed something, so let me fix that quickly. Okay, let's see, where were we? All right. Time check is 7 minutes to midnight. We still have 78 people watching, or 92 people on my control panel. Okay, let me drink more water. I need to stay hydrated. I'm getting really thirsty after all the talking. And I'll get to the chat. So I'll reply to the remaining chat, and yeah, we'll call it a night. Water tastes so good when you're thirsty, right? It's crazy. And coffee tastes even better. Okay, let's get to the chat. Juliet says, I bought a Nikon Z50 on a great deal and took it on a trip, ticked all the boxes and prevented me from buying OM3, but the lack of stabilization, even with the lens, held me back. So it's back to Olympus. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend a Z50. I wouldn't. I didn't even do a video on the Z52. I was loaned the Z52. I used it to test a Vitrox lens, Vitrox 35 f1.7, which they sent to me, and I did not do anything on the Z52. And if I have done a video about it, I would have made a very big complaint about it not having image stabilization. Sorry, there are motorbikes on the highway, if you guys can hear the noise in the background. Gary says, you do the work, YouTube gets the money. Sounds like an excellent business model for YouTube. I know, right? It's not fair. Diva says, YouTube cannot put ads in shorts. I think this is the reason why they don't want to pay. Yeah, that's the reason. You figure it out. That's exactly the reason, right? Yeah. Mike says, green is my favorite color. It's the sensor's favorite color too. Green, red, blue for the site per pixel. How can you not like green? I love green. It's just that you realize every single macro shot is like just green, 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 green. So when there's something else like you know, more texture of reds or like yellow or something else, when there's something else, I go crazy because I finally have some other splashes of colors besides green in my macro shots, right? So yeah. Tomato says, I love macro. It's definitely easier when it's colder and during dusk or dawn. Yeah, during dusk or dawn, everything still moves in Malaysia. Nothing stays still, trust me. Even at night, especially at night, things move. Yeah. Tomato says, as nice as stacking, it's the depth of field is more natural in single shots. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I gotta agree with that. JSB says, I have to go to work now. Thanks for everything. Oh, no worries. Thanks for joining as a member. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support. Looking forward to the next one. No worries. I'll see you next week, JSB. I appreciate that. AJ says, hi Robin, everyone. Hey AJ, how are you? Very late for the chat. No worries. I'm just glad that you're dropping by. We'll need to catch up in the morning. It's 1:25 in Adelaide. Wow. Go get some sleep, man. Not worth losing your sleep over for this live stream. Trust me. You can catch the playback later. I'm just glad that you just dropped by to say hi. Yeah. George says, do you have control of ads quality or quantity? Nope. Most are assigned and some are horrible, glorifying extreme violence. No, I have no control whatsoever. But I think you can report if the ads are bad, right? Just report to YouTube. And like, different people see different ads. You're all from different parts of the world. Even if you're at the same part of the world, depending on your watch preferences, your age, your cookies. I think the YouTube is tracking your cookies, and whatever they can learn from you, they'll customize the ad for the targeted audience. So you're all seeing different things, different ads altogether, right? So yeah. Victor says, hi Robin, thanks for sharing your knowledge. No worries, Victor. I share as much as I can. Because of your videos, I bought my second camera and chose an Olympus EPL7. So far, I've been so happy with it. I haven't used my Canon. EPL7 is another gem. I should be making a video about that. I have the EPL7. I think the next video I'll be making about it, but it won't be published so soon. When I make a video, like I said, I have a buffer of like 6 or 7 videos. So I have about more than 1 month of videos worth, just in case I get busy, right? I don't have time to make videos. So the next one I should be making should be about the EPL7. Nico says, there's a 3D printable diffuser for FLM3 flash on Thingiverse. I printed it white. It's great for EM5 Mark III. I still suck at flash photography now. The FLM3 flash is not powerful enough for the kind of macro that I'm doing. I think the guide number FLM3 is like what? It's not powerful enough. Guide number. I think it's 10, if I'm not wrong. It didn't say. Wow. Guide number. Guide number of 30? Is it really 30? That powerful? I don't think it's 30. Anyways, what I know is it's not powerful enough for what I need to do. So yeah. Civilite says, totally agree that ring flashes, ring lights look so bad. Like, the light is even. It's just that when it reflects off the eye, right? It's that ring is so bad, right? Like, yeah. Nico says, what's your take on the Olympus M-Con PO2 microconverter for the 25 and 45? It doesn't go close enough. Like, it goes a little bit closer, but just not close enough, right? And if you want to attach, there are several ways of getting macro shots. One is extension tubes, which I should be making another video about. I've talked about this before. I don't know if you've seen my video on this. Let me just find the extension tube. Since we have time, we are coming to an end already, and there's not that many chats. Robin Wong extension tube. So yeah, there's this one. Share. Okay. And it's cheap. Find the ones that have electronic contact. You have full autofocus. That's extension tube, Nikon. Or if you want to attach something in front, then I'll recommend Nisi. Yes, they sponsored my video, but I think it's amazing. Nisi. Okay, let's see this one. This is a sponsored video, just to be fully transparent with you. Nisi close-up lens. So this one, this works. But if you get the Nisi, just be mindful that you need to find the right step-up ring to work on that. I think the Nisi is 49 millimeters, the filter thread. So let's say that you have 45 f1.8, which is a 37 millimeters thread. So you need to find a 37, step up to 49, 37 to 49 step up ring to attach that Nisi converter on, and then you can get like insane amount of magnification. The M-Con PO2 that you talked about earlier, yeah, it doesn't give sufficient magnification for the kind of things that I want to do. Yeah. Kevin says, flights and accommodation booked for the next month in KL. Hope I can get my camera gear down to hand luggage. Ah, awesome. Looking forward to seeing you, Kevin, and hit me another email. We'll definitely catch up. Definitely catch up. All right. I've caught up with the comments. Yay. And time check is 1 minute past midnight here in Malaysia. I think that's it for today. I think we've talked about quite an interesting topic. We've covered a lot on image stabilization. I've talked about how to calculate the image stabilization effectiveness. I talk about what the 5-axis image stabilization is. I talk about how CIPA measures image stabilization. There were two standards, one in 2015, one in 2024, from the yaw and pitch and the yaw, pitch and roll. I talk about how it affected my photography and why it's a game changer, especially in the photography industry, and how it changes my way of doing my photography. And yeah, I hope you guys have benefited from this sharing. I've also shared 2 sets of photographs, the series of the Merdeka 118 Tower, where Yelena jumped off from in the opening at the Thunderbolts movie. Yeah, and second series is my just recent macro shots that I've taken. Nothing special really, but I hope you guys have enjoyed that. And yeah, new videos coming out next week. Next Monday it will be GX7. Yep. So I finally made a video about the Panasonic GX7, which will be released next Monday. And I'm trying to do this like last Monday, I talked about the 5-axis sync IS on the latest 100 to 400. So my live streams topic is tied to that. So I expand a little bit more on image stabilization and how it affects photography. So I'm trying to do this, like I'll release a video on a certain topic. So next week will be a Panasonic GX7. So next week's live stream will be something to do with a Panasonic camera, so that we can have a continued discussion from the video that's released on Monday. So I'll try see if I can keep up with this format. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me. There are many ways to support me. You can join as a member, you can buy me a cup of coffee, you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my affiliate links. So any support goes a long way. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.